Maybe you've seen Jake Gyllenhaal's newest film, Nightcrawler. If not, this small bit from the trailer will help set up the premise for you.
We're first! Go around! Get a shot inside the car!
Hey, back away!
I got it, I'm back!
Will this be on television?
Morning news, if it bleeds, it leads.
Are you currently hiring? I'm starting a TV news business.
You, get back!
I film breaking stories. Maybe you saw my item this morning with fatal carjacking.
No, I mean, I don't have a TV.
Do you have a cell phone?
Yeah.
Does it have GPS?
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're hired.
Gyllenhaal's character goes on to make quite a name for himself as a stringer, shooting crime scenes and selling his video to local news stations. One night, he gets the big get and finds a TV station willing to pay top dollar for his footage. I haven't seen the movie yet, but Jamie, you have.
I did, yes.
Tell us, based on what you've seen in the theater, how realistic does the whole premise and setup seem to you?
I always am hesitant to go into movies that I know are trying to portray television news because a lot of times it's cringeworthy, especially if you've been on the inside. In this case, I think you have to look at it more as a character drama and understand that Gyllenhaal is playing this very interesting character and kind of take the choices that he is making and the judgment calls that he is making as kind of a creepy character and not so much a representation of the news business. I think the thing that I see that's most unrealistic and that was played in that trailer is this idea of looking for gore and trying to find the goriest shot. It's not truly what happens in most cases. Usually, in fact, you are trying to get shots that do not have blood in them because you're not going to put those on television. It's against what we do ethically. I know those choices used to be different. I've pulled plenty of file tape where there's body bag shots from the mid-'80s. I think that used to be something that was on local television quite frequently. We don't do that anymore. I think that was, to me, the most unrealistic part of the movie. There's also some of the negotiations that take place for him to sell, for the stringer to sell his tape, I think, go a little bit farther than traditional negotiations.
And just before the show started, we talked about where some markets do pay for stringers, and you had that in Chicago.
Yes, as an executive producer in Chicago, I very often would work with stringers who would, early in the morning, offer me tapes, and I would have the option of choosing to either air them or not. We'd pay somewhere between $150 and $200 for a tape. The stringer would drop it off at the station. We'd take a look at it. And if we decided to go ahead and use it, then we would go ahead and pay them. It was a set, flat fee, and once you had it to use in perpetuity. So if you had file stories or things that you would go back to and do follow-ups, you would have it there. But almost every stringer video would always look the same. So as opposed to having that big gory shot, what you'd usually have would be, the street signs that show you exactly which intersection you're at, or the flames coming out of the building in the fire, or the aftermath of the car crash, just the car on the side of the road. In Kansas City, in Boise, and other markets, how did you handle that differently?
Generally, our policy was no, we do not pay for video, but on occasion, when we knew that there was something that was truly distinct, that wasn't a car crash or a shooting, but it was something that really we felt compelled, then we would talk with that person about paying. But in general, our policy was don't pay for that.
At the stations where I've worked, we've never paid, at least to my knowledge, never paid for any content. And I knew when I answered the phone, if somebody tried to sell us tape, that we would say no. And we knew that the other stations in our market were likely going to turn them down as well. I do think the one thing in the movie that is shown pretty accurately is that listening to scanners, going out and trying to find the news that way. Yes, that absolutely does happen. We listen to scanners in newsrooms, news cars, and we go out and we try to get there first and get video to show the situation.
And you do arrive on the scene before police many times. You also are in situations that are very much like that movie depicts.